We're thrilled to have you join us today to what promises to be a thought-provoking and insightful session. As the financial landscape across Africa rapidly evolves, the role of digital transformation has never been more critical. From mobile banking and fintech innovation to intelligent automation and customer-centric platforms, we are witnessing a powerful shift in how financial services are delivered, accessed, and experienced. I'm joined by industry experts in a panel discussion where we'll look at behind the scenes of AI-powered debt recovery solutions, showing how conversational AI and omni-channel scenes of AI-powered debt recovery solutions showing how conversational and AI omnichannel tools are redefining scalability and customer engagement. We will share practical client perspective, highlighting how conversational banking via platforms like WhatsApp is driving cost efficiency, improved oversight, and enhanced access to digital financial services. And finally, we'll look at the bigger picture on how digital adoption, data-driven strategies, and customer-centric innovation are transforming loan recovery across the continent. Allow me to introduce and welcome my fellow panelists who bring deep expertise and real-world experience to our discussion. First, we'll hear from Petra Sasic, an SaaS product marketing specialist at Infobip. Petra plays a pivotal role in shaping product strategies that enable businesses to deliver seamless omnichannel experiences. She'll be giving us a technical deep dive into Infobip's debt recovery solution. Next, we have Oluwole Koka, the head of mobile and digital banking at FCMB Group, who will share a compelling client testimonial. With over 15 years experience and a passion for digital innovation, Oluwole is a recognized thought leader in digital transformation who will walk us through FCMB's implementation of conversational banking, showcasing how it's improving customer engagement and operational efficiency. Finally, we'll be joined by Lemi Kimani, who is a results-driven product manager at M-Pesa Africa. He's actively shaping Africa's financial ecosystem by leading major initiatives like the loan marketplace, digital ecosystem, and UFFA mobile platform. So whether you're a banker, technologist, policymaker, or an entrepreneur, we believe today's webinar will offer valuable insights that you can take back to your organization. I'd like to highlight that there will be a Q&A session. So if you have questions, please just note them for the speakers, then we'll address them during the Q&A session. Thank you once again for being here. Let's dive into this exciting conversation and shape the future of banking and financial services in Africa together. With that being said, Petra, why is omni-channel engagement critical in markets like Kenya, Nigeria, and South Africa? And how does Infobip integrate with core banking systems? Before you answer the question, can you just quickly highlight what your role is and how long you've been doing it and why it's crucial for this specific webinar? Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. Yeah, I can give you a short introduction. It's really nice to be here, and it's a pleasure. I'm Petra. I'm a product marketing specialist. I've been in Infobip for almost 2.5 years now, starting as an intern and all the way to being a specialist. And basically, my role is really to be able to communicate the value that our product brings and help with basically showing the value to what it has to our customers, and then getting the market insights and helping improve our products as well. So just to answer your question, in these markets specifically, what we've learned is that people often tend to switch between different channels. So between WhatsApp, for example, or SMS and email, based on obviously the data availability at the time, based on the device type. And traditionally in debt collection, it was often used like a single channel approach, but it tends to often fail to reach the right party. So what our platform enables here is really this omni-channel journey. So for example, you can start sending a message with a payment reminder on WhatsApp, and you can follow it up with an SMS in case it was unread. So this really, redundancy, it increases the delivery rate and it ensures a more seamless experience across all touch points. And also what the platform enables is having it all in one unified view. So every single channel you use, whether it's email, SMS, or even calling, agents can, for example, have an overview of everything in the same place. And it really, increases speed, efficiency, and accuracy. And for the second one, I think it was how it really integrates with core systems. So in general, we use APIs to connect directly with core systems, so we can access real-time data. So, different loan statuses, or maybe if there were missed payment events. And then this actually enables triggering communications instantly, right, in one moment. So, for example, if a customer misses a payment today, the chatbot can reach out immediately with some options to pay or to reschedule. And, this real-time syncing, it actually helps to reduce these delays in payment. It minimizes the errors. It then really ensures that the information that the customer is receiving is always up to date.
Well, it's interesting to hear how the world is evolving each and every day. Who would have thought that WhatsApp would be used as a platform for digital banking? Oliwole, can you tell us what initially led FCMB to explore banking solutions like those offered by Infobip? Please also walk us through the implementation process of Infobip's conversational banking solutions, specifically at FCMB. Please also follow the same procedure as Petra, a quick introduction, then a deep dive into the question.
Right, thanks. And thanks, Petra. I would say that Infobip has actually, it's got sense, to met Infobip along this line of digitalization. And we had a roadmap, to ensure that we increase our, active base on our channels. And, the critical thing for us as banks is engagement. You need means of communicating to these customers, kind of products that you have, what you want them to do, and how you want some information to go around. Now, traditionally, we've always used SMS, and that's been a traditional way of communicating to customers. Emails, yeah, but remember, in Africa, we still have a lot of non-email users, active non-email users in Africa. So that's still growing. But SMS seems to be the major traditional way of engaging most of our customers. And then you have situations where some of these messages, drop along the time. People have several messages from different kind of, organization, or, from friends or whatever, what have you. But then when we engage in Infobip, we saw that they have a platform where we can engage our customers along different touch points. Now, what is very important for us is meet the customer where they are, So we've seen an increased rate of WhatsApp users, 100 million WhatsApp users in the country. And that's really great because, checking against the population, that's almost close to about 50%, which means that there's a part where you can actually meet these customers that people use the WhatsApp for fun and for work. And so it's easier to then communicate. Now, not holding down on that, what we've done is to integrate all of these communication channels. We have the email, you have the SMS, you have the WhatsApp, we have the apps, we have over about 2 million users on our apps, and so this there's a lot of channels to then communicate. So what we then do is to ensure that we look at where the customer is most active. If you're most active on the SMS, we push SMS to you. And if you're not, it continues to the emails or to the WhatsApp. And then you can then get feedback. Feedback is very critical, for us. And so what we did is to see how we can get feedback from customers, where customers can, lay complaints or make inquiries, or, inquiries depending on, whatever need that they have. And then the communication is easier. And then that becomes more cheaper for us, because then we are able to increase our active base in terms of customers that are engaging our platforms, every day. And then that's a lot of, cost effective, for us in terms of communication. And integration, it was easy, I would say, because I think the Infobip team have done a lot of work in ensuring that API is easy to, to integrate. And we didn't have a lot of challenge, integrating into this. However, there's been a lot of improvement on the channel. So what we do is to have periodic trainings and, periodic engagement to know what is new and what are the other products that we can channel through. Yeah, thanks.
Okay. So on average, with the customers that you have subscribed to your products currently, what percentage would you say is actually using WhatsApp and SMSs?
So for SMS, in Nigeria, it's almost a regulatory, to have SMS get customers when transaction is done, email as well. But what this has done for us is to ensure that there are other channels where you can communicate to customers. So what we've increased over about 30% since we started, using this channel, and it helps us much better to engage. So we've done a lot of customer engagements that has actually increased the active base of customers, to us. And so I can say that it's already, a success story. However, there are a couple of things that we still need to put in place to ensure that, we maximize the potential of this system. And we're already on the phase 2 of that to ensure that that is achieved.
That's really interesting because usually you use yourself as a measure of what's happening in the industry. So I can't even imagine the last time I used SMS for banking.
I
The
know.
apps you now have these in
Right.
contact, applications. So it's quite interesting to hear that there are people who are still going through the traditional route. I mean, most people in South Africa, as an example, they don't even buy any bundles like SMS bundles. So it would be very interesting to hear how that integration would work. But like I said, it doesn't really show the wide scope of the population. It's just what you think personally. You assume that the next person is applying the same methods. No, thank you. Thank you for that. So we're seeing a clear shift toward mobile-first banking. How has this trend specifically influenced loan recovery strategies in Africa, Lemi? And what inspired M-Pesa to prioritize digital transformation in the loan recovery space?
Yeah, thanks, Ayanda, and hi everyone. I'll just follow the trend. My name is Lemi. I sit in M-Pesa Africa. I'm a pretty new entity owned by both Safaricom and Vodacom, and we look after a couple of markets where M-Pesa is present. So just to mention, we are in Tanzania, Kenya, Ethiopia, Mozambique, DRC, and Lesotho, where we're now actually facilitating M-Pesa. So my role as a credit lead across M-Pesa Africa is to sit with the different credit departments across the countries, share different insights that you're seeing in the various countries, just enabling the markets be able to serve their customers even better. So if I'm to go to the question that you've asked around mobile first in the African countries, what we've seen is the enablement of access to financial services. If you just take a step back to 2007, you'd see that actually more than 70% of Kenyans didn't have access to financial services. And as we sit here, over 80% of the population can access financial services through their mobile phone. What this means is even the lenders are able to interact with these customers through their mobile phone. They can send the SMS reminders. They can let the customer know when the loan is due. A separate thing I'd also point to in terms of digital fast penetration is real-time transactions. You find that previously, if you had a loan, it would be wise for you to just look for a lot of money to come back and pay the loan once. But as facilitating real-time transactions, it means even if you just have $20, for example, and you have a loan of $500, you're able to continuously pay these small amounts to the lenders, and this gives some sort of comfort to the lender that this borrower is paying back, much as they haven't paid the full amount. At least the intent to pay is still there. And then another thing I'd point to is cost efficiency. So you'd find previously guys would have to pursue these lenders independently, trying to find where they live, how to reach out to them, and all that. But being a mobile first continent, these lenders are able to now get to these customers directly through SMS reminders, and these customers are able to pay back their loans through their mobile phones. So from where I said, I think being a mobile first continent, it really has changed the landscape around lending. Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. It's amazing to hear that there are populations that were underserved previously, which are actually being served currently. So, I mean, what was that transition like? If a person, you're saying it was 2007, which is a bit recent to find out that majority of the population did not have any access to financial services. So what would you say was the reception of that transition?
I think it's just more inclined towards digital literacy because you find that a good example is when you're paying for something in the market and you need change and you've given quite a big note. In Kenya, there's an example of 1,000 shillings, and this vendor doesn't have change, for example. They prefer you to pay via M-Pesa because then that eradicates the need to give you change and all that. So that consistent literacy around financial inclusion, money flowing through the ecosystem did um, help us to now expand the reach in terms of financial literacy.
No, that's interesting. If you don't mind, can you just quickly take us through how M-Pesa works? Because I'm actually not familiar with it. So it'd be interesting to hear how exactly would you pay at that specific vendor and not require, is it like a tap and go type of situation, or is it different?
Well, it's quite different and interesting. So it's you have we have three segments. We have merchants, we have agents, and the customer. So for an agent, what they do is they facilitate money into M-Pesa and withdrawals out of M-Pesa. So once you get the money inside the ecosystem, the next step is to see how do you use this money inside the ecosystem. And that's where now the merchants come in. So what you do is you just get a number on a store and you're able to input that number and the amount that you want to send, and it directly goes to that merchant, and they can confirm receiving these funds through an SMS. And then also you as a customer, you receive an SMS showing you that you've paid X amount to Infobip, and this is now your new balance. So that is how the landscape looks like.
Wow, no, beautiful. And then do you have like workshops where you teach people how to use the platform, especially the elderly? How do you make sure that they're not in a situation where they can get scammed, or you know how the situations are when it comes to the elderly and technology. So how do you have workshops, or is there like a guide on how to use the platform?
So yeah, we have a very big agent network of almost 300,000 agents spread across the country. So the intention was to have access to an agent um 50 meters from where you are. Like from where I am, if I walk 50 meters, I'll find an agent, and so on and so forth. So these agents have actually been really, really critical in just enabling people know how the system works. So you'd find in a community, there is this agent that is trusted, and the elderly normally go to such agents. And our African culture, of course, is to just help out the elderly. If you see someone standing in a bus, an elderly person standing in a bus, and you're young, we are used to just giving that seat up to the elderly. So that culture also is embraced in terms of financial inclusion. So the elderly actually are really receiving money from their kids from different towns. They receive money on their M-Pesa. They just walk to these agents that are really close by, and they're able to withdraw the money. And sometimes you find transactions don't have to leave the ecosystem. You can even pay within the ecosystem. So it's quite advanced at the level that we are. It sounds like it's just the other day, but we just turned 18 this year. And in the 18 years that we've been in this journey, there's a lot that has happened. Yeah.
No, that's beautiful. It's truly an inspiring story. Petra, please walk us through a typical customer journey with Infobip's debt recovery solution. We've heard that M-Pesa uses that platform, so could you just walk us through what that looks like?
Of course. So our SaaS suite of solutions, so our chatbot building platform, our customer engagement platform, the customer data platform, and the contact center solution, using them all together, it really allows you build the entire end-to-end customer journey. So let's say what happens, a customer misses a payment, and the system will basically detect it via API, and it will immediately send a WhatsApp reminder containing some sort of pay now link. And in case there's no response, there will be a follow-up SMS sent a few days later, or in a case that maybe the message didn't get delivered, a failover channel will be used, again, maybe an SMS. And in case that, maybe they respond with pay later, in that case, the chatbot will guide them to set a new date of payment, or, to resolve this issue. And in case they maybe express some confusion or some frustration, there's always this possibility to transfer the bot to a live agent. So all of this really happens, fully automatically and is fully trackable. And the best part is that you can track all of these interactions and the data in the analytics. So for the future, you can see, you can segment your customers based on payment behavior, and then you will know, who is your VIP customer who repays immediately, who is a customer that takes a few times to repay, and so on, which is always great to improve future communication and personalize it even more. But yeah.
So there hasn't been a situation where an incorrect link was used as an example, or let's say hackers sent out links to your customers pretending to be Infobip. Has there been a situation like that? And if there was to be, how would you manage it?
I mean, that's an illegal action, so I'm pretty sure it would be handled. I'm not aware of any situation that we had similarly to that. But when it comes to like data pricing and when it comes to protection, there are a lot of policies that we follow. So we implement like frequency caps to we ensure opt-in communication, and we make sure that all the communication is verified. We really, like I would say, emphasize secure integrations and compliance with different policies. So yeah, we do a lot of things to make sure that the collection practices are ethical and it's non-harassing. And there are also policies, for example, the Google spam policy that can block your traffic. For example, we had a client onboarding in South Africa to RCS, but there, you have a very strict Google spam policy, which will always, how would I say, like overlook your traffic. So yeah, I hope that answers.
Yeah, no, it does. So, how is your debt recovery solution different from a standard collections process, and what results have your customers seen so far?
Thanks. So basically, traditional debt collection, it can oftentimes be manual or more reactive, or as I mentioned even previously, limited to maybe one or two channels like SMS or phone calls. But we really tried here to bring automation and personalization and this omni-channel reach into the process, because that then removes this pressure off of agents. It enables saving a lot of time and resources. So, we use chatbots, whether they're just simple rule-based chatbots with, different lists and numbers, all the way to AI-powered chatbots, which are more conversational and more sophisticated to initiate these repayment conversations over conversational channels like WhatsApp, for example, which is definitely, a preferred channel currently, and automatically, follow up with SMS or email or RCS or any other channel based on customer behavior. So yeah, this enables like a little bit more scalable and always on process. And it, with the aim of, like, I would say ultimately increasing the right party contact rates and lower cost per recovery of the debt.
So, would you say there was any resistance from the customers to move to this form of debt recovery?
I would say, I mean, when you move from traditional channels to digital channels, maybe in the beginning, especially if it involves AI. There's a lot of skepticism and maybe resistance. But I think quite clearly it became obvious that these chat channels have higher open rates, so much more engagement than, let's say, email, for example. You get so much more, like in the click-through rates, when you get notifications, you get reminders. I mean, everything is in the palm of your hand. So I think it's quite quick to switch to conversational channels, really.
Okay. No, thank you for that. Lemmy, we're going back to you. So just please tell us how you balance automation with the human element in debt recovery, especially when dealing with sensitive customer experiences. So it's just to bounce off what I was asking Petra, if there was any resistance. Yeah. So can you just take us through that?
Struggling to find my
Oh,
mic.
yes.
Yeah. So yeah, this definitely needs to balance, because how we look at this is what feedback are we getting from our customers on a daily basis. So you find that we do have the personalization features, trying to just get the customer at the right point and at the right channel. So for us, it's more about does this product really serve the customer that we intend to serve? For example, if you're at a supermarket, for example, and you want to pay for your shopping and you're just lacking $2, for example, how do you enable you to complete that transaction at that point in time? So the moment you are able to just enable credit for such situations, you find that there's the human element around you enabling a task to be completed. And then on the other side, you're not intrusively trying to always send a customer messages and using the web bots and AI to just continuously ask them to take a loan from your platform. So I think that just creates a good balance where the customer doesn't feel like you are abusing his data, but at the same time they feel like you're part of the lifestyle. Yeah.
No, that's interesting because, there's a 50-50 split when it comes to AI usage, especially where money is concerned. I can understand how an everyday person who's not really interested in anything that has to do with tech is told that they have to use AI to move money around. How do you convince an everyday person that this is the safest way to go?
So I think it boils down to the rails that we've built around M-Pesa. M-Pesa is a really trusted brand. Highly unlikely do we lose money from the ecosystem. So piggybacking on that infrastructure and the trust that we have from customers, anytime we launch a product in the market, it comes on the back of a very, very trusted brand. I'd give you an example of, I think 30% of the GDP is facilitated through M-Pesa. If M-Pesa is to go down for just 20 minutes, it becomes a conversation in parliament because you've really stifled the economy at large. So those are the things that do happen in our ecosystem. And now when it comes to now the users of the products that we are building, they expect that level of availability when interacting with these products. Um, an example from where I sit, I can't remember the last time I had cash at hand, and then this goes to almost everybody in Kenya. And the cash doesn't have to be mine. It's even the loan facility that have been allocated to me that I do use on a daily basis. So this, I think the trust element is what is really key to this conversation on M-Pesa.
Yeah, no, you're correct. I mean, if there is trust, then there is that human element for the customer. No, thank you for that. In the conversation of balancing automation, Oluwole, how has WhatsApp banking changed the way your customers engage with FCMB?
Okay, thanks. Petra and Lemmy also mentioned, I think it's important to know that meeting the customers where they are currently active is very important. It also has helped us to ensure that, we're able to engage at the right time, and I listened to what Lemmy said about, introducing, loans at some point of transactions. So we've actually learned a bit from that and try to use this platform to do same, in ensuring that we're trying to communicate, one, rightly to customers, and at the time when there's a need for that. There's a lot of communications that customers will say, coming from feedback, that we try to over communicate. Sometimes something like that. Yeah, you have a lot of products that you want to sell, and a lot of information that you want to give. A lot of promotions going out as well, and so sometimes customers feel that some of these messages are too much, and then, so with the WhatsApp, what we'll be able to get is we have a channel where you can get customers' feedback almost immediately. Now, people are getting more comfortable, communicating to the banks and all that. I know that there's been a bit of security, like you mentioned earlier, and, it's kind of a little bit scary for Africans generally to want to transact, using this platform. But with the conversation part of it, people are already getting more used to it, and then getting comfortable, with the system, and then you can, in a bit way, start introducing, transaction platforms, all of this, and where you can do money transfers of, the WhatsApp bots, and that's already, in place in our version 2 of our integration as we speak. And then we're already seeing, people getting, more comfortable, with that channel to be able to do that. And so essentially it's a win-win, for the banks and also for the customers, because one, customers are easily reach, based on compared to what it used to be with the traditional way. And secondly, because you are almost sure that most of the messages that you're pushing are being seen, and you're putting the right messages to the right people and based on the needs. So it's been a lot of win-win, for both the bank and the customers as well.
Wow, interesting. So sometimes that WhatsApp does go down. So what does it mean for you guys on the banking side? So if a customer, as an example, does not know what alternatives you have, what does WhatsApp being down mean? And have you communicated alternatives to your everyday customer?
So I would say that, I would like to say that the bank channels are much more reliable than WhatsApp, but I don't think that's the correct, feedback here, because I think in the last 2 years we've not seen any. I think we've seen just maybe once or twice. I know there was a general downtime at the time when, you almost look like the world was going to go down, when WhatsApp wasn't working for in Africa for a few hours. And so, it's almost like one of the most reliable channel, that existed, in a while. And then we can, almost say that it might be like a backup app, for now, but it's increasingly being what would then be primary, over a period of time. So, and that's why the process of developing chatbots on this, such that, you can then rely on the reliability of this platform, and then build as much as bots as possible, and other kind of APIs and channels around this, so that it helps to do a lot of communication. Now, for the banks, we've been very reliable with our apps and all of that, and then we have also embedded a conversational channel on the app itself. So when you go to the apps today, we try to communicate to our customers through some of these APIs that we receive from Infobip, to communicate to customers for promotions. And then this is it's intelligence, it's AI. It knows what you do every day, and then with that information, we're able to project some product to you that we think will be useful to you. And so this has helped to reduce the number of communication you throw out to every customer every time. And this is very, very useful, because now you're able to target the customers rightly, and then you're able to get feedback from this customer, through other channels that we have. And so I would say it's a fantastic product, that we've launched on into, and then we're hoping that by the time we get into the version 2 of it, we can have better success stories, to give.
No, amazing. So are there any on that, the success stories, are there any specific customer stories or feedback that illustrate the impact of chat banking on accessibility or convenience? Like I said, an everyday person probably doesn't have the digital literacy to use a banking app. So what customer stories have there been there to say that this has changed their day-to-day when it comes to banking?
Right. So I think the first for me will be engaging the contact center, and I think Petra mentioned something about that earlier. So, the typical way of getting through to a contact center is that you have to do some 10 minutes, 5 minutes average wait. They said the toll is free, isn't it? And then you have to wait on that toll for a longer time. And then time is money, like we know, right? So that's really impacted, how customers are engaging, because now you have a channel where you can drop a message, and the bot can, take you through a lot of, engage you in the first period of time. For most of these basic things or everyday requests that customer will always have. And so it helps to have reduced time for the bank and then for the customer itself. And then when there are several part of this lines where you can engage easily, you can drop message, we can come back to you, you can make inquiries, we can get back to you. So it's make life easy, for our own customers, and it helps us to have better active customers, on our platform as well. And then you get to the last straw where some customer insist on still speaking to agents, where lesser customer speaking to agents, because you then have a channel where they can interact quickly, get quick information, and then they're satisfied with the information that they have. And so that's a good success story, for us.
No, thank you. There really isn't any moving forward without inclusivity. So it's interesting to hear that your platform is being inclusive to every single person that uses it. So Lemi, what are the biggest challenges you've encountered when integrating digital tools into loan recovery processes across diverse African markets?
Yeah, I think one I'd point to is the systems. Sometimes you find organizations are using old systems that are not able to integrate easily. And then separately, there's the infrastructure bit. So you find maybe the expectation from the customers is that the transactions need to be real time, because that's what we've actually made the customer believe. Because the customer, like in Kenya, for example, you can't not be able to pay via M-Pesa. And then if, for example, a bank is trying to do someone is trying to do a withdrawal from the bank, that's withdrawal from bank to M-Pesa, and there's a delay therein, then the customer gets really confused and frustrated. They don't know whether they should be calling the bank or should they be calling M-Pesa. So these legacy systems on the bank side and other technology companies have been a challenge, but um, it's really improving over time. So yeah, that has been one of the main ones.
Okay, no, thank you. And then what verification processes do you have in place to make sure that this is actually the user? Has there been any issues when it comes to that, where there's another user trying to impersonate another user?
Yeah, there is. So there's a couple of things that we've implemented. First, we have facial recognition, which of course is enabled by a bit more advanced smartphones. And then we've also done voice biometrics. So on the voice biometric side, we use your voice as the unique identifier of you as a person. If you're to call a customer service line, they'd use your voice to passively authenticate you as a customer, and they definitely tell if it's not you who's using that specific line. And then thirdly, we have, of course, the legendary PIN numbers. So we roll out campaigns to just let people know how sensitive PIN numbers are. They should not be sharing this with other people, and so on and so forth. So those are some of the measures that we've taken, and we're continuously looking to also use AI to see some of these people who are trying to con people and blocking those numbers actively. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. I mean, with voice recognition, it can be a bit tricky because there are people who have similar voices. Do you actually feel like that has worked for you guys, or is it something that is a least preferred method?
No, it has worked for us, to be honest. It's interesting if you know how unique your voice is. The thickness of your tongue, how hollow your throat is, the wideness of your chest, all these are different attributes that contribute to your voice. And then separately, when using voice authentication, for example, you shouldn't have an accurate voice compared to what you used last. So you continuously are storing these voice prints. And if you score between, say, 95 and 110, then that's too perfect a match. It goes to another area of authentication. But if you score between say 75 and 90 thereabout, it sounds a bit more realistic. Because today you might have a cold, you might not be saying the same words exactly every time that you're speaking. So there's also those factors that have been looked into that really are able to say this is actually Ayanda speaking.
Mhm. I mean, scammers are always ahead of everyone. So would you say that, I mean, if a scammer has recorded someone else's voice, would your AI system be able to tell that this is a recording and not an actual person speaking?
Exactly, it will be able to pick that up because it will be too perfect. It will be
Okay,
too
so it's what you
perfect
were saying
for
about the
that just,
scoring matrix that you have in place.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
no,
exactly.
that's truly interesting. There's often been issues here in South Africa of people using voice recognition as a way to get credit. It's usually simple yes or no questions, so it's kind of hard to determine if that's a person. So that's what I wanted to find out in full detail, that if you call me and I say I am Ayanda Xaba and I say yes, no, will it be able to pick up that this is me or not? No, thank you for that. It's very, very
No,
insightful.
maybe
Sorry?
just to give you a bit more detail, it's not a yes, no answer. We give you a phrase.
Mhm.
So you can say,
Okay.
um, at Safaricom, my voice is my password. So you having to say that phrase, it gives a lot more data points to just confirm the voice print. Yeah.
Okay. No, that makes more sense. That makes more sense. Petra, let's go back to you. So how do you handle data privacy and regulatory compliance, especially when dealing with financial data?
So actually, yeah, completely related to this previous questions as well. I wanted to add, I mean, we also enable this mobile identity service and authentication, different methods to prove identity. But when it comes to like compliance, we really take it seriously, especially in financial services, because, you know, it's a pretty sensitive area. And Infobip, as I mentioned, like we support frequency capping. We support different like conditional logics that all ensure that communications will respect local regulations, that you know, you avoid spamming. So yeah, and when it comes to integration specifically, we followed very secure like API standards. So we allow for like data anonymization and for encryption. So yeah, I mean, currently the platform is being used by, you know, some global banks like Capitec, or several top tier like Nigerian banks like GT Bank as well, Access Bank. So, you know, all of these solutions really power the customer engagement through different channels and through these secure API integrations. So yeah, but also, you know, telecoms as well, which also speaks to our compliance with different international standards like GDPR and some local data protection laws. We have, you know, a
So,
compliance and security team as well. Sorry to interrupt.
yeah.
Yeah, provides
No,
these
thank you for
services.
that. Thank you for that. I just wanted to know how, like, what's your visibility across the globe, and how do you adjust the compliance standards to each and every country?
So across the globe, we have over 70 offices. So we have really employees and teams working on like local compliance and regulations, really in every single one of those offices. And that's how we really make sure that we are compliant to, very custom local regulations.
Okay. So, how does AI actually improve the collection process beyond automation? We've been hearing that there's a use of AI, but how does it actually improve the collection process?
So when it comes to AI, there are obviously different applications, but I would say, it helps in mainly three ways. So if I'm talking about AI chatbots in particular, which is how we apply AI in Infobip, so conversational AI, I would say first, you can personalize the outreach, offer very tailored refinancing options based on the customer profile. And then second, it supports smart routing and escalation. So, you can recognize when a customer is frustrated or confused and then transfer them to a human. And a third example, I would say maybe offering this round the clock service. AI chatbots, they don't sleep. So customers can engage always in their own time at their own pace, especially, in regions where you have varied working hours and maybe you can't always reach support.
And then are your prompts adaptable to what the client would actually need assistance with? So if they're using it after hours, is it fully functional to be able to get the service that you require at that specific time?
Exactly, yeah, because the flows for the chatbot, the whole script of the conversation and everything is being built up front and ahead of time. So once it's launched, it's really always available. It's an automated service. So yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
Okay. No, thank you for that. So we have been speaking about the actual experience. Oliwole, please take us through operational costs and what measurable savings have you seen since automating routine transactions and inquiries?
Well, without specifying on numbers, I mean, and like I said earlier, I mean, looking at the operational cost. So let's take the contact center, for example. I mean, prior to this, what we have is that we have agents that speak to every customer at every time. And so, I mean, if you take a look at financial institutions where you have more than 5 million customers, that's a lot. I mean, that's huge, cost. Sometimes I know that some of this costs trying to, prevent costs or reduce costs, you have to take some of these agents out of your region, and all of that, to be able to attend to customers. 24 hours every day because customers are then calling at any time, of the day. So implementing this, it helps us to be able to, free up human engagement in some of this because then the chatbot can, assist customers on simple customer inquiries and, some engagement, can be done on the chatbot. And a lot of customers are happy because one, they don't have to wait on the queue for a long time, like I said much earlier. Secondly, is that they get some simple. Sometimes customers just need some simple, information that is available, and then you then have to wait, on the queue to speak to an agent. And so this helps us to reduce a lot of human costs, and then be able to also focus, people in other areas where they can be beneficial, to cost reduction. It's been great. More importantly for us is that the satisfaction to customers and the fact that it's helped us to increase the active base of our own customers, for the bank. And so that's for me will be even much more important, than even the cost reduction that we've achieved, using this platform.
No, that's amazing to hear. Was there an issue with, people
Integration.
Sorry?
Well, go on. Sorry, I
Oh
thought you
yeah,
said
no.
something
I was
else.
asking, was there an issue with people feeling like their jobs are being taken away by the AI? Because we know that usually that's the main issue when it comes to AI and your everyday person.
Well, I think it's a journey, and I think it's how it's been done. When you're moving people, what is most important for them is to, be able to sell, letting them know that they can also be functional in other, units or department, within the organization. So what we did is more about role rotation and then you move people to other effective roles where they can be more impactful, right? And then leaving all the simple inquiries and all that to the robot, to handle. Like Petra will say, the robot don't sleep yet.
Yeah, no,
Right,
the workforce is always preferring AI because you don't have to have labor laws in place. So, as an
oh, right.
institution, yeah, it's amazing to always know that you don't have to have labor laws in place. But it's
Yeah,
amazing to hear that people's jobs were protected and they were saved. Because that's always the main resistance when it comes to
absolutely.
any technological advancement. No, thank you for
Absolutely.
that. Let me back to you. So, how has the digital loan recovery changed the operational costs for M-Pesa, and what significant change have you noticed? So, it's basically bouncing off what Oli Wale was taking us through.
So again, I think we are heading towards personalization. We want to know you as a person, how much can you afford? What is the right time to nudge you with an SMS to repay back your loan? How are we going to maybe enable you even save? Because you're not only looking at lending, you're also enabling savings and giving interest to the savings. So all these data points we are looking at are powered by AI to a good extent, and that helps us to now be able to now customize and personalize some of these items to the specific customer. So in terms of recovery, messages are mostly the way we use the method used for recovery of such loans. Mostly reminders, time of reminders is also very, very critical. Yeah, so AI does help us in terms of just knowing how to deal with the customers personally. Yeah.
So, on like a percentage, you know, depiction, what would you say your savings were?
So it's quite significant because how we look at savings, we look at the default rates. So the moment you enable people to be able to pay in real time, I'm telling them about you're able to pay even in small portions and all that, that kind of reduces our non-performing loans. So in terms of percentages, um We've actually we're actually looking at single digits in terms of NPLs. So depending with the stage of the product, when you launch a product, you might find NPLs are way higher. But now all our products are leaning towards below 7% NPLs.
Wow, no, that's amazing. It's amazing to hear that. Petra, please take us through what makes your AI solution scalable across different financial institutions, from fintechs to large banks. You did say you have quite a few large banks using your platform, so just please take us through that.
Yes, so the good thing is that the solution is really modular and it's API first, which means that, even smaller fintechs can start with some templatized, like already prepared journeys using very basic chatbot flows, on WhatsApp or SMS. But larger banks can also layer in different custom integrations, because most of the times you have to synchronize the customer data platform and some advanced automation as well. So everything is really, like I would say, designed to be able to scale from simple pay now reminders to really full repayment negotiations with AI support and agent handoffs. So it really depends on the complexity of the project ahead, also how long it takes to implement and how it works. But yeah, you can start off from simple plug and play templates, choose a chatbot flow that is already pre-designed and activate very quickly.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah, we'll close off the panel session here. I'd just like the speakers to kind of give us closing remarks on the conversation that we were having. We can start with you, Petra, since you're on screen.
Well, for closing remarks, I just want to say I'm very, very it's a big pleasure to be a part of this webinar. I learned also a lot today, specifically about the African markets, and it's always great to get to know how it really differs in different markets. So yeah, thank you very much for also listening to my part, and also know that you can always reach out on LinkedIn or any other platform if you want to maybe continue these conversations or have some more like technical in-depth questions as well. So thank you.
Thank you. Lemmy, you're the next one on my screen.
All right. So thanks a lot for the opportunity to be part of this webinar, and thank you everyone for joining this webinar. So as closing remarks, I think what we need to push for, with the help, of course, of the partners, the technology partners, the bank partners, is financial literacy, because the more people do understand how to interact with the financial products, the better it is for everyone. So you find that if the repayment rates are improved significantly, what that means is their borrowing rates will also be reduced, meaning at the end of the day, it's the customer who wins. So looking forward to more engaging sessions, and hopefully Africa will be liberated, and people will actually be able to access more affordable financial services.
Beautiful. Oluwole?
Yes, thank you for having us. This is good, and I think that we've been able to have good discussion around some of the ways AI and other new technologies impacting the world and impacting our business as well. I would say that final for me will be to increase the we can integrate with all that kind of industries as well. Banking industry, we need a lot of integration to every part of other industry as well. Insurance, let's talk about the loans and all of that. And I know that with this kind of solutions, it will help us to be able to do better integration, faster and better integration. And then it helps to do a lot, with customer engagement, and then which is also one of the greatest part of our own. The better system. We're looking forward to better collaboration, with the team as well, and so we can deliver, get results for our own customers.
No, thank you. Thank you so much. We'll go through the Q&A. I did mention to the audience to please wait on asking the questions. So the Q&A session is now opened. I see that there are some attendees that have sent their questions already. So yeah, I will just read the questions for you guys, then you will answer for the attendees. The first question says, does M-Pesa plan to expand into South Africa and to South and West Africa, and do they offer loan services to MSMEs and SMBs?
Yeah, in terms of the expansion strategy, that's of course handled at a strategy level. Recently, we went into Ethiopia, and it's working wonders. We already have 8 million customers in Ethiopia. So I think after proper research and decision making by the organization, we'll definitely look to expand into the other markets. And then the next part of the question was giving loans to MSMEs. It's actually something we are actually looking to do. Today, we just launched loans for merchants. It's called Tasi loans, and hopefully that enables people to continue their businesses on a daily basis. Yeah.
Well, congratulations on that launch. Hopefully your question was answered. The next question is to Oluwole. They're asking what financial services are currently being offered by FCMB in Nigeria to accelerate financial inclusion in Nigeria, considering the Nigerian population. I think there's some typos in this question, but they're basically asking,
Right.
what financial services are being currently offered.
Right. So we try, in terms of financial inclusion, we try to reach the below the pyramids, people in rural areas, where they can easily get on board, onto accessing financial, products like financial literacy. We've been able to use more structured systems, to engage some of these customers, where they can use with SMS banking, so to speak, be able to register and get access to banks products. I think interestingly is that we offer almost all what customer would need in terms of loans, to low scale to medium and high, and then we do a lot of savings products as well, and the customers can save as little as what they have and they at better rates, and also giving them access to do all the basic things that they would want to do in terms of keeping money or spending money, as the case may be. And so it's a range of products that we put out, but what we have done is to also ensure that some of these projects are able to profile these needs for them based on what they require.
No, thank you. Petra, this one is for you. The question is, how can loan companies in Africa leverage Infobip's debt recovery solution to significantly improve their timely loan collection from customers, and how can we access the solution from Infobip?
So loan companies, so whether it's, traditional lenders or maybe even fintechs, they can definitely benefit from the debt recovery solution with automation and with the personalization of the collection process. So first we enable chatbots, whether they're AI powered or not, on different channels, like as we previously mentioned, so WhatsApp and SMS, email, which are widely used, and trusted in these markets. So these bots can basically proactively remind customers on the due payments. They can also offer flexible options like pay later or maybe pay in installments, collect confirmations, and all of this can be done without involving an agent unless it is required and necessary. So that's the first thing. And then second thing are it's an omnichannel platform, so it really ensures that all the messages are delivered and seen. So for example, if a WhatsApp message isn't delivered for some reason or it isn't opened, we can automatically, follow up with SMS or any other channel. So this really increases the right party contract rates. It improves overall recovery performance and the conversion rate. So and also, when you integrate your core banking or your loan management system with an API, it enables these real-time triggers. So a missed payment today can actually prompt like an automated reminder within minutes or days. So however it is set up. So, and to access this solution, it's simple. You can reach out to us. You can contact me maybe on LinkedIn as well, and I can put you in touch with our account executives, and you can contact also our local teams in Africa. So yeah, and we offer these templated and ready to launch journeys that can go live, in under a week. So yeah, or it can be a more customized deployment, based on customer needs. And we also actually offer support with onboarding as well and continuous, optimization to make sure you get your results.
Okay. No, thank you for that. I hope your question was answered, Anonymous. We have another question for you, Petra, from Bernard Charumbira. So they're asking that you mentioned earlier that the system can pick up a missed payment. How is it done? For instance, in the South African market, would it imply that it has the capacity or capability to plug into the user's bank account to pick up when a payment bounces?
So that's a great question and a very important one, especially in highly regulated markets like South Africa. So our system doesn't plug in directly into the customer's personal bank account. Instead, we integrate with the loan company's core banking system or loan management system through APIs. So this means that, you know, when your internal system registers a missed payment or a bounce, it will change the repayment status. It can trigger a real-time event through our platform. And from there, you know, our workflows actually take over. So sending a reminder, offering flexible options, and or escalating to an agent if needed. So, you know, really the intelligence, it comes from your own management system. So we just make this outreach more automated. We make it triggered, timely, and we make it compliant. So without accessing sensitive customer bank data. So, you know, this approach really enables keeping everything secure and fully aligned with some privacy laws.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, thank you for that. I hope your question was answered fully, Bernard. There's another question from Azaya for you, Petra. So it's they're asking, is the product owned by Infobip or Safaricom, which is M-Pesa? They're asking that you kindly share the consumer journey on the product.
So maybe we're talking about different things here, but I mean the chatbot that I'm talking about and the customer engagement platform and the customer data platform, these are owned by Infobip. And the customer journey, what a typical customer journey could look like is, for example, you can start with maybe some proactive payment reminder. And then if it's being, I mean, I think we talked about this a little bit before as well. So you can always start with a simple message. And then if this message is being ignored on this channel, or maybe it wasn't delivered, there will be a failover to another channel. And then after that, the bot can reach out again to get a reminder and maybe offer some flexible options. So either to pay later. And in that case, you schedule a later date of payment and then the reminder comes then again. And even after the payment is done, there are different like loyalty use cases that you can implement to really keep your customer engaged across the entire journey. And in the case of requiring like human escalation or talking to an agent, you can very quickly just switch to an agent. So all of these different components of the platform enable these different things. And then the data, obviously, from the chat and the conversation gets saved in the CDP, so in the customer data platform. And based on this, you can really segment your future communication to make it more effective and to know who to target with what kind of information, because, you know, maybe you have a person who is repaying very quickly every time, and then you have someone who is lagging a little bit, and obviously you're not going to have the same, you know, consistency and the same or frequency and type of communication with both. So yeah, it helps you kind of more customize your approach to different segments of customers. I hope
No,
this
thank you
answers.
for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope all the questions were answered according to your specifications. If you have any further questions, the panelists are available on LinkedIn for you to engage further should you need to. Yeah, we have been given the gift of time. We finished beforehand. So thank you very much to everyone who participated in today's session. And a special thank you to our incredible panelists, Petra Sesik, Oluwole Koka, and Lemi Kimani. Your insights into AI-driven debt recovery, conversational banking, and scalable digital strategies have truly enriched our discussion. From Petra's technical overview of how Infobip's omnichannel and AI-powered solutions streamline collections and integrate seamlessly with core banking systems, to Oluwole's powerful case study on FCMB's WhatsApp banking journey, and Lemi's broader reflections on digital adoption and financial inclusion. We've covered a great deal of ground. it's clear that Africa's financial services industry is undergoing meaningful and magnificent transformation, with digital innovation at the heart of this progress. Whether it's improving customer engagement, reducing operational costs, or expanding access to underserved populations, the solutions discussed today are shaping a smarter and more inclusive financial future. To our audience, thank you for your thoughtful questions and active engagement. We hope that the ideas shared today have sparked new thinking that you can take back to your teams, projects, and institutions. Please note that there is a survey at the end of this session that we ask of you to complete. On behalf of IT News Africa and Infobip, thank you once again for joining us. Stay tuned for future webinars and events, and let's continue working together to redefine what's possible in Africa's banking and financial services industry. Until next time, stay safe, stay innovative, and goodbye for now. Thank you.